Good day. I'm Dave Copeland. I'm one of the principals in the Hunter Dickinson group of companies, and I can say we've had a continuous and successful track record in a number of projects that we've developed. That includes Mount Milligan, the Kames project, our project in Tibet, and several projects in Africa and elsewhere. Today, we're going to go to Poland. I know it's not like going to southern Spain, but Poland is actually a mining country, very much so. So I'm going to speak a little to the background on that. Everything we're going to talk about today is preliminary economics, and we're in the process of taking those to the next stage. So we call it the first phase of getting into final engineering technical results. So, in the initial analysis of the project, we see very robust financial returns. We used conventional costs for lead and zinc, and we're able to produce for around 57 cents a pound on the zinc, and very similar 40 cents a pound on the lead. What's important is we are in an established mining district in Poland. Poland does have mines, and they have large copper mines, and they've had 2 large zinc mines. The former zinc mine is very close to where we are. It's about 20 kilometers literally down the road. Poland, just quickly, joined the EU a fair number of years ago. It is very much a very good permitting process for mining. It has good tax rates and has had continuous growth, although last year it was neutral. This year they're saying 4%. It is an excellent place to operate. We've essentially completed all the geological documentation, and we're in the process of refining some of that work. We're well down the road on our environmental impact assessment. And I can tell you, we know most birds on a first-name basis, and we actually are building a highway or a road crossing for salamanders. We are very committed, and I know it sounds a little funny, but no, it's very much part of what we do. In terms of zoning, Poland has all its lands structured, so unlike Canada or places in the US where you have unstructured districts, all districts in Poland require permitting and review. And they do have other additional resources. There's a lot of logging that goes on in Poland. It's not all developed. To reference where we are relative to Spain and Germany, that's how it fits together. So again, infrastructure. So there's a lot of projects running around the planet that are well down in the exploration and also on the engineering side, but they lack where are they going to get power. They're going to have to bring power in somehow. They've got to build road access. They've got to find workers, all those kinds of things. We are very fortunately blessed. All the infrastructure is in place. Literally, the power is there. The power company has agreed that they'll bring it to our location, which is like 10 kilometers from where they are. We just have to pay the rate, which anybody else would also have to build the thing and then pay the rate. We're fortunate in that we have a railway. It doesn't show very well on here, but it passes through our 2 concession areas and goes to the Port of Gdansk, which is a loading and offloading for concentrates. Again, Poland is very big in copper and in zinc. It also goes down to the south, 17 kilometers away. There is another zinc operation, similar setting, classic Mississippi Valley, and I'll come back to that in a minute. And that mine operated for over 40 years, okay? And they started with basically a similar setting as what we had. There is also a smelter there. They built a smelter complex. That mine has closed in the last 3 months, and that smelter now has to bring in concentrates Actually, they get some concentrates from Eastern Canada, so it's got to come along the boat and over and down. We are connected by rail to that. We've had good discussions with them, and they're only 17 kilometers away. So all these things go to the bottom line in terms of cost, returns, etc. I'm not going to get into the geology particularly. Suffice to say, it is very conventional for what they call platform reef systems. So think of the Great Barrier Reef off of Australia, and on the inboard side, not the ocean side, you have quiescence in the waters there. And so all the creatures are busy building platform, and you get very large, shallow, flat zones. And then with quiescent volcanism, you get acidics and metals in solution, and they enter into the carbonaceous and they precipitate out. And that's how you form these style of deposits. They tend to be very, in our case, they're very, very consistent. That upper zone is over 3,200 meters long, okay? And our mining sections are anywhere from 4 meters to 10 meters in thickness. So these are large bulk mining scenarios. So in terms of resources, we were very fortunate in that the Polish Geological Department, there were no prospectors in the early days running around in Poland drinking vodka or whatever over camps. It was all the exploration was done by the Polish Geological Science Department, okay? So they drilled over 1,000 core holes in this area. They had their own analytical lab. We have all that data, okay? And we're very comfortable with it. We've had consultants look at it. We, in turn, drilled another 50-odd core holes to confirm what the historical work had been in a particular area. And we get very good agreement between what we have and what they have. So at the moment, we have a resource of about 24 million tons. Their work indicated that there would be overall 77 million tons. We obviously have not re-drilled all that information to date, but we're in the process of doing that, and we're in the process of converting our resource into a measured resource as we go forward. So just real quickly, you're going to see very large-scale equipment underground. So that particular slide from the ground to the top, where that's a 40-ton haul and a 30-ton front-end loader. So that would be that stope or underground section be from the floor to the ceiling. That's the kind of sections that you're working in with this kind of deposit. Now, and that's based on the distribution of the zinc in the deposit, okay? So it makes for very low-cost mining and very large rates of return. That's a sketch of what I was just describing. So in terms of processing, again, this deposit's been very good to us. A lot of zinc deposits in South America and whatnot have high content of iron or manganese, and sometimes mercury as well. This particular style of deposit is what we call very, very clean, and consequently we'll get good returns from whatever smelter group we go to. And again, that's really critical on the return in terms of what your cash flow is going to be. And given that the smelter is literally down the road and is very familiar, it's been processing similar sort of ore, we see having a decent rate of return on the project. Stakeholder involvement. When we first arrived on the ground, we went around and introduced ourselves to people. We're very proactive. We support school lunches. We support the fire department. We support the ambulance system. And these communities are reasonably structured, but they all need additional financial support in one form or another. But key is we're not in the wilds of nowhere, okay? This is a very much structured and doable place. Thank you very much.